So we're gonna have two people we just talked about, Michael versus Aaron. What do you think we're gonna see?
I'm excited. I think Michael is playing. He's starting out with the professor over here, and Aaron is gonna start with his NBN making noise deck. I haven't had a chance to look at his deck list yet, but I'm gonna assume that it is a Yellow Jackets deck he's been playing, or variant.
That is what I've been able to see, and we're already in the game. So, Aaron, happy to just make some money here. Click 1 and then install some ice. So pretty typical corp start.
And Michael on the other side doing a sure gamble. And probably looking for SMC or Astrolabe to get started. Yep, there we go.
Both.
There we go. Perfect.
Well called, Randall.
You cannot ask for a better start.
Well, he could ask for another short gamble in his hand, and he has it.
Ta-da.
So Aaron, gonna blue level clearance. Talked to him about this a little bit last night. He likes the blue level clearance, even though it's 2 influence. It's heavy, but he likes being able to draw those cards more than even the money.
Yeah, I don't know that I like it out of NBN. I do like it a lot out of Cerebral Imaging, but we'll see how it goes. Aaron, I think, is a little better player than I am. So.
And Michael drawing up here, digging for stuff. Looks like he's got his professor.
Those cards look really similar.
Is out. Yeah, right. Professional Contacts is out. He's going to start digging for stuff right now. Probably looking for a personal workshop.
Sit with another MC.
Another blue level clearance for Aaron.
What is he digging for? I mean, I guess just some more ice.
Yeah, more ice.
Right now he's a little low. I don't know how much he runs in this deck.
It's a good question. Last night he was running a little low on it as well. So maybe it's.
I think NBN tends to do that more than any other faction. Is just running on that light ice, using the pop-up windows, getting some
other
money.
than maybe Jinteki will do that sometimes too.
Oh,
when they
yeah.
want to go horizontal. Interesting. There it is. There's Clot. We found it.
And perfect matchup for it. And
Yep.
the NBN match is going to be where you're wanting it. But now he needs to set something else on that so that he doesn't automatically have to put the Clot out in 2 turns.
Right.
He wants to be able to hold it until he needs it.
Because otherwise Aaron can just, take a turn, get rid of it, and start scoring.
This is where I'm looking for a FEM. How long can I hold this out?
Right. So install for Aaron on 1. Double install.
Oh, okay.
3, he's going to advance. So getting aggressive early.
Huh.
With an SMC on board. That's interesting. Because you have to think that Michael can get in there.
Maybe an NAPD. Maybe he's expecting that he'll use all his money getting the breaker and won't be able to pay for it.
But then the next sure gamble comes out, so maybe feeling a little bit less secure.
And if he's really trying to be tricky, I assume that could probably be a shipment from Sand under there. So when Michael gets in, he has to make that tough choice of the trashing of the Sand or the 4 for the NAPD.
Sand City Grid, you mean?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
What is Sand?
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, or it could be a trap of some sort, an ambush. Ooh, toll booth. Well, that's not going to be cheap for Michael to get through.
Well, there's the taxing he wants.
Yeah.
And he's just going to sit out. I guess doesn't have enough to go find anything really.
Ironically, he's got a David in hand, it looks like. So, yeah.
But he can't pull out a hand with us. That's
as
the
we
one
just
problem.
heard, yeah. So Michael going to have to resign himself to letting that agenda score, probably.
Yeah, I mean, NAPD is not something that you really care that much about.
That's
Although
true.
it could, in all honesty, be an Astro script. We're not sure. Because if he can't get it out either way, he may as well go and put an advancement counter on it.
Right.
Lure him into that false sense of security.
We'll see what Michael wants to do here.
So what programs do you think are going to run from out of faction in this professor that are going to put him over that normal 15 influence limit, I think?
All of them. Well, we know we saw David, right? He'll probably have a FEM. Something
got a
big
Clot.
like that.
I can only assume a medium. Oh, I've played against this deck. He has Progenitor. He has a medium.
He goes medium
Nerve
agent so that he can get those huge R&D or HQ digs.
There we are. Yep.
And there's the NAPD score from Aaron. Yeah, not very surprising at all. And he'll actually, I think he even runs one of the dogs in here, but I guess the Shaper dog is probably what makes the most sense there. I know he runs Corroder as well, actually, though.
Well, you got to run Corroder in pretty much any deck that can run it.
It's just too good.
Second click, taking a little more money and drawing.
For those asking on the stream, the corpse money is actually the die, that D20.
So he's sitting at 7 right now, I believe.
Yeah. So second personal workshop out for Michael. There's the David that he wanted.
I'd like to thank Aaron for that light blue dye. Some people played purple dye on here before, and it's a little tough to read.
So another install from Aaron. No advance, though.
He's daring him. He says, you can go get your stuff, but if you can't pay for it, it doesn't matter.
So he just
went up to 10.
beanstalks up to 10, and then drops another piece of ice in front of R&D. So
He's got some interesting stuff in
signaling
here.
that he's still looking for agendas that are in the deck.
Using his influence for beanstalk and blue level. So I think Michael can kind of start to be a little less worried about maybe Scorch coming out of this deck.
Right. Or even a lot of unexpected ice, for that matter. So he's going to stim hack into the toll booth.
I don't think NBN needs unexpected ice as toll booth. Goes in.
So he's getting something with SMC.
Fem. I mean, that's the breaker that's kind of built for toll booth. There we go.
There it is. Yep. And then just the one to bypass, which I think he already paid even.
Yes. You get it one to bypass. Yep.
And then we'll see what Aaron has behind the curtain.
Will-o'-the-wisp.
So he accesses the Sand first. And
oh,
an Ash.
Okay.
Wow.
So the Ash is what was down there protected for. Got it. It was a good play.
Yeah.
And Michael trashes the Ash, leaves the Sand.
But now, of course...
But because Clot is out, it's not really a priority, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Because he can always just pay for it. But it is still there, right? And he's going to have to deal with it at some point. Aaron, though, probably going to need to find some ice before he starts scoring out of that server again. Because at this point, Toll Booth is dead. Looks like he draws at Jackson and puts that down. So probably just going to be looking to draw. Oh, interesting. Doesn't Jackson draw? Draws a hedge fund, plays it. Just trying to get money.
Maybe is he just trying to get him to waste runs on that Jackson and pop something out? I don't even what does he put in archives he desperately needs here?
Yeah, it seems like he's just waiting for more ice to try and secure these servers a little bit more before he starts scoring again.
Which is a scary proposition because Shaper really plays that late game well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know Michael runs clone chips to bring everything back that he has out here. So, and there it is, the ASOPs and the cash. So Michael won't be.
He's using the gambles for days.
Yeah, Michael won't be hurting for money anytime soon. Aaron does res Jackson and uses it. First 2 clicks, looks like.
This is where Aaron starts sweating a little bit, not because of the jacket.
Yep. Yeah, he's under a lot of pressure here, actually, even though we've only seen sort of the one run. But he needs to find, those cards that he's looking for and get them into play.
So I haven't been on the receiving end of this yet. I kind of wonder how Aaron's feeling over there with Clot on the table and unable to be purged. That seems like a really awkward position to be in as the core.
Especially when you have a San out and ready to res, and a Beal in hand, I think we saw. So
I don't know if Aaron's running any traps in this deck. The deck I was running was full of traps, so I wasn't quite as concerned when Clot came out, but I think his is more pure kill out of the ice.
Right. And I think at this point you just have to wait for Clot to come out and try and purge it.
I mean, do you bait it out with breaking news?
Yeah, that might actually be the best solution for him.
Because Michael doesn't have the clone chip out yet, so once that Clot's gone, it's gone.
Well, no, he does have clone
turn.
chip, actually.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So on the second level, I was looking on the back level for his hardware.
Yeah, Aaron's under a lot of pressure to find a solution to that. And I think it's probably just going to be icing up that scoring server more. But obviously he's not finding a whole lot of ice, even with those Jackson draws.
I'm waiting for the card to come out that's just a blank upgrade that says you can advance this.
Yeah.
That would be a great card to help deal with Clot.
So there's the piece of ice over the scoring server. More money.
I mean, but at this point, how big does the scoring server need to be? There's already a Fem on your toll booth. He's sitting with David, so your big ice is shot at least for a turn.
Right, and he's still got an SMC and a clone chip, so he can go looking for whatever he needs, really.
Man, Michael's deck looks like it's running like a Swiss watch right now.
Yeah, and it looks like he's even got his next turn lined up. He's ready to pop SMC at the end of Aaron's turn. So Aaron just trying to decide what he's going to discard here. I think we can assume that he's got at least one agenda in the trash, because I think he trashed the Beal.
Yeah, and he's sitting on 15 credits, so he can res whatever he needs. There he goes.
And there it is. So begins the incubator digs. He's going to just let it sit there, force Aaron to think about it, and wait until he can get out a medium or a nerve agent.
And he can with the Clot and the clone chip. Aaron knows that he can't score out of that remote server, so he's just letting Aaron try to bide his time, figure out an answer. Meanwhile, he's letting the pressure build up until he can destroy R&D. I think he's made 6, 7, 8 deep R&D runs on me in the past with this.
And the interesting thing is, the things causing Aaron problems right now are all viruses, and they're all out of Shaper instead of a noise deck.
Shaper's starting to look like criminal because it's playing Anarch cards.
Yeah, indeed. So Aaron going to go ahead and pop Jackson. Puts back face down cards only.
Oh, there's a couple of agendas sitting on the bottom middle of his deck.
Yep. So, yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what he's trying to draw into.
I mean, Michael's still only sitting at 7 credits. I mean,
Right.
if he draws into that Shinobi that has inevitably got to be in this deck.
That being said, with Aesop's on the table, you've got at least some money consistently if as long as you have something you can trash. And there it is. That's the other solution, is to draw your KD and play it.
Aaron is in a bad way here. I kind of want to see what he does here. Looking for an answer. Let's see. He does have one more piece of ice in his hand if he wants to throw it down.
And honestly, that NAPD might not be a bad decision here either, just because Michael is sitting on so little money.
It might open up, a little small scoring window at least.
Just for one turn, even.
There we
no,
go.
he's going to keep icing up.
Well, he's got to make that NAPD run as expensive as he can to make sure that window stays open. Because next turn, I mean, Michael's going to click up that KD, so he's going to be sitting on 12 credits at least.
And Aaron has all of the economy in his hand. Tries to drop the sweeps. Didn't realize Michael only had 3 cards in hand, so drops the beanstalk instead. And then he installs on that scoring server. So Michael checking memory. He's all set. He's got that mem chip and that astrolabe out.
And Aaron, at least on the corp side, maybe not so much on the runner side, has always been a little bit more of a cautious player. Like, he's not one of those people I expect to put down an Astro and just hope that it doesn't get run.
Right.
I mean, I like to score agendas out in the open like it's my job.
Oh, yeah. Love it. That's why I play Jinteki horizontal. And, yeah, it looks like Michael trashes that personal workshop to Aesop, so he might think he needs to get in there this turn and stop Aaron from scoring again.
But now Michael's kind of sitting under that pressure of Clot sitting on his other personal workshop, and it's a 1 counter, so unless he puts something on there real quick, Aaron's going to have a turn to purge it. The clone chip is still out there, but he's going to hit the progenitor at the same time.
It looks like he found an imp with the Procon. And so he's running the scoring server on 4, I think. So yeah, Clot will be out next turn.
Aaron mathing it out here.
This might actually
Ouroboros. Okay.
Interesting.
I think that's a 1 of in his deck. It's kind of annoying when it comes out on click 4.
Yeah.
Like, I sure wish you would run earlier.
I'm not sure whether this is click 3 or 4. But
well, if Michael's click tracker is right, it should be click 4.
Right, unless he flipped it over as this click.
Okay.
But I don't know. Not sure. He might be saving that 4th click to put something on the personal workshop so that Clot doesn't fire. He's going to break the Ouroboros with Fairy.
Sounds like Aaron's saying something at the beginning of his turn.
Maybe
we're getting some feedback out of another game. Yeah.
Noise. Yeah, I think Michael's just trying to decide whether or not he's going to continue this run.
I mean, he has 8 sitting there. What's the worst of this middle ice could be here? I mean, Aaron has 10.
No res from Aaron.
He's going to let it go. APD.
NAPD shows up. Now Michael has to decide whether or not he can afford to steal that right now.
And we know the Sansan is still under there.
Yeah, I think that's a good call from Michael.
Just got to let it go.
I think stealing it there, you don't ever want to see NBN on 4 points because it's a quick trip from 4 to 7 with them. But on the other hand, now Michael's broke. So yeah, that was 3rd click run. 4th click he did install the imp on personal workshop.
Okay.
So Aaron, somewhat mission accomplished. Got a fairy in the trash and forced Michael to spend almost all of his money.
But it looks like Aaron has some confidence in whatever that middle piece of ice is. He's going to install. I kind of want to see him take some credits here, play some econ. I want to know that that piece of ice in the middle there is something substantial.
Right. But over to Michael. Draws. Is that a Morning Star? It might be a Morning Star.
It's been seeing a resurgence around here as of late.
It has.
I guess just because the runner's economy is at that point now that it can afford to play the big, expensive breakers.
Well, and with StimHack, anything's affordable, right?
StimHack wins games.
So it's like first click Procon for Michael. Maybe first 2 clicks even.
And his SMC is gone. He does have a clone chip, but I don't
Right.
think he wants to get rid of that just yet because he is still playing against NBN and he does still have a Clot out.
Right.
So this kind of poses an awkward situation for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
getting past Ouroboros with Fem isn't going to be a cheap proposition.
I mean, he has a gen out, so he can go find a medium. He
That's
can
true.
install it
That's true.
for 1, 2, run R&D for 3. I mean, I think he's already used 2 clicks.
Yeah, he's already used 2, so. And with 3 counters, you know, that's a decent run, but if Aaron drops any ice or reses any of those pieces of ice, then makes it that much harder to get in.
But then at least he can make a run on that remote server.
Right.
And that would be what I was going for.
So Scheherazade install and Katie click.
Coming out a little late there.
Yeah, a little bit late. Something that happens to me every time I play the Professor.
All right, he plays Restructure. That's going to be enough to res the San and score his agenda. Okay, it's Jackson.
So, yep. So Michael, happy that he guessed that was another Jackson. Aaron, probably okay with that because clearly he needs to draw some more ice.
He does have some agendas in his hand. Is that, looks like a Beal maybe?
Hard to say.
Can't get a good view
but
of it.
that's not what he installed.
I think he put down an ash. He put down a purple card.
Yeah,
I can only see
yeah.
the edge of it. It is nice that this cam kind of gives us a little bit of a look at the hands, the way it's situated.
Yeah.
Brings back a Restructure because didn't have quite enough econ, I guess.
I'm thinking better of it. Thinking cheaper econ might be better. So he brings back hedge funds.
I don't know. That Sansan might have been good. I mean, the thing I think has been a problem with the Gambles for Days econ system is that it gives you a consistent economy, but it's never really been big on burst economy.
Right.
So it usually sits somewhere around 7 to 12 credits, which is, you know, a reasonable amount, but it's not an exorbitant amount. The longer you let Katie sit there, though, the bigger problem that's going to be for Aaron. Imp comes out. I think he's going to try to use that to get rid of Sansan City Grid.
Drops the Morningstar in the personal workshop.
And I mean, now you're begging Aaron for a purge. You've got the Progenitor sitting at 4. You've got an Imp out, and as soon as it hits stable, I kind of start sweating a little bit as the Corp.
Yeah,
I really have a.
I mean, yeah, you have to
that card.
know medium is coming soon, or Nerve Agent, probably medium in this case.
But it's
The danger being that you spend 1 turn purging for medium, and then Clot comes out. You'd have to do it again.
Yep, and then Katie,
Right.
you know, clicks. That's another 3 credits for him. You've given.
So
takes
Aaron,
it off.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he wants to go. He thinks that's an agenda.
He breaks the second sub on.
So he's not going to run again. Obviously, this is 4th click. So he breaks with Fem. Aaron deciding whether or not he's going to res that second piece of ice. Doesn't res it. Lets the toll booth go. It's an ash. So Michael having to spend quite a bit of money just to get that ash. Still no interest in trashing the Sansan. He's going to let it go back to Aaron. So Aaron has to feel pretty good about that. He's continuing to force Michael to spend a lot of money. I think you're right when you said he's got some confidence in that second piece of ice. He's sort of just waiting.
I'm trying to figure out what it could be. Maybe a flare?
Maybe. But he's got a Beal in hand, so if he wants to give it a shot, he can try.
I think there's a Will of the Wisps over there too. Maybe I saw a card that looked similar.
Hard to tell. Is that really what you think would be a good play right now? Because Michael keeps running back in. If Aaron had that Will-O-Wisp, you think?
Yeah, that would not be a
Drop
bad
it?
play,
Yeah.
Especially to get rid of that Fem. Well,
Yeah.
no, sorry, because he's not breaking anything, so he couldn't use the Fem. He could get rid of whatever's breaking the Ouroboros. So, well, it would be the Fem because he's still
Yeah, it is
it's
the
still a
Fem.
sentry, yeah. So,
That'd be a big deal.
and then suddenly the Toll Boots is looking a lot better, and the Ouroboros is looking a lot
Yep.
better. You're forcing him to use his clone chip to get
Which
his
means-
SMC to get back in there.
Which means Clot is vulnerable as well as the other viruses. So
I don't know if it's there. I don't think I've seen it come out against me yet, but it just looks similar. I think that's another Toll
Oh,
Booth he's
wow.
laying down there.
interesting. Why not? Why do you think he doesn't trash the 1 toll booth? Just because it still costs 1, you think that's worth it?
Yeah, I mean, 1 every time is still 1 every time. And if he manages to bust the Fem somehow, suddenly it's a big deal again. And I think program trash has been kind of seeing a resurgence right now. The Corp is a lot angrier than it has been recently. A lot more destruction, a lot more damage here and there.
Oh, test run from Michael.
What's he going to find here? Maybe the medium. Nope, he passed the medium. Nerve Agent.
Gordian Blade.
Okay.
Top card of the deck, of course.
Always fun. So now he has, let's see, a Sentry Breaker. He has his Gordian Blade. He still doesn't have a Barrier Breaker. But I don't see the wraparound. I assume that it's got to be in there somewhere. So he might want the Barrier Breaker.
Well,
but it's not come out yet. So.
Or he's just, I guess, planning on having enough money to bring out the Morning Star from the personal workshop. But that's a big ask, I think.
He has two counters on it, I guess, and 5 credits on it. Is he?
Yeah, so it's at 7. I think he's just using power counters for the remaining.
Takes a little more money, so he's sitting at 10, 3 on Katie, so he's looking at 13. Trash something so he can get to 16 on his next turn.
Draws another test run, so.
Now he did bring the Gordian Blade out with the test run, but he didn't scavenge it. It's going back on top. You'd think he would have made a run this turn if he was going to test run something. It's kind of funny that he pulls off the top of his deck. He's going to put it back on the top.
Should be putting it back on top at least. We'll make sure they're doing that right.
Okay, but he
So
did
it sounds
scavenge
like
it. We
he
did
did
not pay
scavenge it.
attention.
Caster's not
there
doing
we
their
go. Okay.
jobs.
Thanks, Michael.
He's
Too busy
just
calculating
yeah,
credits.
He's just looking out for us. So
Only the best Netrunner commentary. All right, he goes in. Looks like he might be trying to push through the agenda now.
Yeah,
although
I
Michael's
mean,
got
think,
enough money now that.
Well, but I
it's
think
gonna be
with
tough.
that second toll booth, and depending on what that middle ice is,
I mean, Aaron's at 18 now, so he can res the toll booth. He can res if that is a flare, but then he's not going to be able to score the agenda. But he wouldn't be able to score the agenda next turn. Or he could because, it's been out for a turn now. So I'm kind of curious what he's doing here. Maybe sacking the agenda, taking the hit in order to put another one through.
Yeah, I mean, at some point he's going to have to score, right? So no time like the present to try, I suppose.
I mean, he has a BL in hand, so if he can open up at least a little scoring window here, then he can put down the BL, advance it twice, and ultimately get a 5-3 out of it.
Yeah. But again, that's a big ask against this board that Michael's got built up. He's got just about everything he needs. Maybe not the most consistent breakers, but there it is. He runs right into the second toll booth. Not happy about it, but yeah, as he says, you got to do what you got to do. So he's going to break it.
He's going to have to pay with a fem to break it. That's not going to be. Oh, no, with the Gordian Blade. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3 up, 4 to break.
Not using David, interestingly enough.
What does he think is coming up that it's more efficient to use the 5? Yeah. It might just be a lapse of judgment.
No, I mean, Aaron brought it up to him, and Aaron's still not resing that ice. But Michael does let the first Ouroboros Trace fire again, so that's the only run for him this turn. And so he's going to draw a card with professional contacts.
Goes the SMC on Jin.
Sweeps weak for Aaron. Finally hits it with 5 cards. It's the first time since the first turn. And now, as Aaron, you got to ask, what can I do here, Michael's shown he's going to get in that server if he wants to, if he thinks it's an agenda.
Oh, I guess, Michael's sitting out 7. He still has that David now, so he's looking at 3, the David, 1 to get through with the
Aaron gets rid of that ice.
I guess he was not as confident in it as we thought. Yeah. We put something else up there.
Something else there.
It's going to cost him 3. Huh.
Yeah, it's not cheap, but
he keeps installing.
Yeah, he's going to install again and see what Michael wants to do.
I mean, at this point, I guess he's kind of pushing Michael and just seeing what he can get away with, because eventually Michael's not going to make a run.
Right. All he needs is one turn for that scoring window. That being said, at some point, Michael's going to say, okay, well, you've let Incubator sit here, so I'm going to go for a medium run. And that's going to be pretty substantial. Especially when the deck starts to thin out and, is only holding agendas.
And that's kind of where you have to hit NBN, I think, is let the agendas build up in their hand and then go for the big hand thing. I mean, you can R&D lock them like any other corp, but I think more often than not, you're going to hit them in hand.
Yeah, okay. So he might very well go for a Nerve Agent. He's got both available. He's got the SMC. Has another personal workshop in hand. A little bit late. But it looks like he also has the medium in hand, so...
No, maybe Michael's just going to run over there and see if he can give him the reset and make R&D a little more vulnerable.
Nope, he's just going to build up economy. He clicks Katie and then Procons.
Letting it go. And you
And
can
there
afford
it
to
is.
let it go, I think, a little more with that Clot out because you're not really worried about the Astro script quite as much as you would otherwise be.
Right. But it gives Aaron the scoring window he needs, so... And Michael actually just using the self-modifying code for $3 off Aesops. Aaron can't be unhappy about that, but at this point, as he said, seems reasonable with all these programs out. Michael's probably not looking.
Yeah, what else do you really
tutor
need
for
at this
anything.
point?
Yeah. And there it is. There's the medium for click 1.
Go ahead and pull in
Yep.
4 off R&D, 5 after he makes the access.
Viper.
Card that we don't see played enough.
It's a 3-cost, 4-strength code gate with 2 trace subroutines.
Well, I think the reason it doesn't get played quite as much as it used to is because Atman is still a thing in Shaper
Right.
decks, and it's usually set at 4 for exactly that
Yeah,
reason.
speaking
Eli,
of which,
yep.
at minute 4 would be great right now.
Which Michael's playing a Shaper deck. You would think it would be there, but I mean, I don't think he even needs it at this point.
So
Let
I
me
think
see,
Michael ends up
5
using
cards.
a click and a money to get through that Eli.
1, no. 2, no. 3.
Wow,
Ow.
complete whiff. That's rough.
So now you know he's got to think they're in HQ, but I mean we can see that they're not. They've got to be sitting somewhere at the bottom of the deck, and that's just bad luck for Michael.
Pretty unlucky run there.
Well, I say bad luck, but the longer the game goes, the more it's going to swing in Shaper's favor, I think. So he's not, I guess, super disappointed that the game's going to last at least 5 more turns. He has some wiggle room here.
Right.
Aaron's
More
already
time to build up medium counters.
Yeah,
Or
Aaron's
bring
already
back the
popped 2
incubator.
Jacksons, so
Yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
he
That's
can't
true.
be worried about them coming back.
Yeah. So he's got to know that Archives is vulnerable. He can't really afford to let too many more agendas go that way.
Are there any agendas in over there now? Does
I
he still has one from earlier, maybe?
I don't think so. I think they're all out. Because Michael did run it at one point and only saw a San.
I mean, he has a reasonable stack over there, but those may just be ice and assets.
Yeah. But right now, Michael's in a little bit of a drought in terms of money, so Aaron would have liked to see a Jackson or another agenda. But yeah, Michael thinks they're in HQ, so he's going to run. Sees a pop-up and a pop-up.
No, he's about to hammer HQ so hard he's going to be disappointed.
Sees an Ash. Can't afford to trash it.
He can, but sitting at 0 is not going to...
Well, right.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to spend that money to put him at 0. It's not really viable at this point, especially since he's not going into the scoring server.
I think he's actually at low enough money that the pop-ups are going to keep him out.
Right. Pop-up doing work. Late game pop-up.
All 4 of them, all 6 of them on the board there. That is a little frustrating to me. I'm looking, I'm like, wait, how many of those are there?
I gotta say though, I love that card art.
Oh, I do.
That card sleeve art. But there it is. Aaron installs in the scoring server. We'll see. Is it the Ash or is it an agenda?
I mean, we know it has to be an Ash, but Michael doesn't.
Yeah, and Michael probably assumes as well, having seen the top 5 cards of R&D.
But remember, he only saw one
But he
card
only
out
saw
of
one
his
card of
hand.
HQ, so yeah. He does take the money off Katie. Oh, maybe not. I think he did the
Thinks
mental
better
math.
of it, yeah.
And realized he probably couldn't get in that server
Take
viably.
take the hit, possibly go down to 6-4.
Right,
But he's going to be so set up in the late game. There we go.
right. And you got to know against NBN, they're not running any 3-point agendas, so he probably feels okay letting him score that if that is an agenda, but he did see the Ash, so there's a pretty good chance that that's what it is.
I am kind of surprised that he has not popped a clone chip to put the incubator back out yet.
Yeah, I am as well.
Figured he let that reload while he's
Well,
hanging
he
out
might
because he
be-
knows he has a few turns.
I don't think, it doesn't look like he's full on memory. Counting is hard, though, so can't be sure.
I mean, he has Jin sitting over there, so I assume that he can hold the
Oh,
incubator
that's
on
true.
that.
Yeah, didn't even think about that.
So yeah, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, he's got
He
more
has
than enough
Astrolabe and
memory.
then,
Yeah. Even without the Jin. Speak of the devil, 2 more. Why not? Now Cortex Lock is dangerous.
What do you think of Cortex Lock? I mean, I don't know that he'll be playing out of NBN now that
No,
we know that there's
no.
not a Scorch there.
But I think there are decks where that is viable.
And I think they are mostly going to be the Scorch decks.
Yeah, although I think it has a place in Jinteki where it sort of can tax the runner down. You know, even if it's not dealing the damage, it forces the runner to think about it, forces the runner to play around it, that sort of thing. So we'll see. I'm hoping to see it later today. I know some of our players have been testing with it during the week, so we'll just have to wait and see if they get there. That's another Ouroboros on that scoring server. So none of this is going to be cheap for Michael.
That's a taxing server, and I talked to Aaron yesterday, and he said that his favorite playstyle is that slow taxing thing that NBN can do. It's not their main archetype, but when you think about it, they do have things like reversed accounts. They have their new current that makes you pay 2 to steal. I think NAPD is, when it came out, is effectively an NBN card. I mean, obviously it works well in any court, but I think it really has a better home in NBN. They have a lot of taxing stuff, and I think that as Fast Advance slows down, that archetype is going to come more to the forefront.
Yeah, it certainly seems to be working for Aaron. And Michael sitting here trying to think what his options are. Counting the memory, realizes he has more than enough. He's going to get Fairy out to take care of the first Ouroboros. Now,
he's going to pay another ton. Oh, okay. So now he does use a David counter. I guess he figured earlier why use the counters up when you can afford it, but now that he's kind of
brings Fairy back again for the second Ouroboros and then bypasses Toll Booth.
Oh, he's going to be so disappointed.
Yeah, and so Ash fires.
I mean, he still has 13 credits. So.
And I think that's probably why he brought back the Fairy twice, is because he knew he was going to have to get in twice. Now, question is, can he get in twice? It looks like he can. I think he can afford that.
It's going to put him almost to 0, though.
Because he's only got to break the 1 subroutine on Ouroboros going in for 4th click.
Correct.
So it's going to cost him 5 per. And then
Aaron,
David, and then 2 David counters, I guess.
Aaron putting 2 counters over there on Ash. I guess he is just using his 2 NBN credits to do that. So leaving it at a relatively low trace.
Yeah, actually, I don't think Michael can get back in.
Michael figuring out if it's worth it. I think he realizes that Aaron has a solid amount of credits, and if he's just going to leave this at a low trace, maybe he's thinking that there's not something in there. Otherwise, Aaron would pump a little more money into it. Okay, he is. He's just adding on to it, taking his time.
Just trying to decide.
I think he's trying to see how much he can get away with. I don't think there's an agenda in there. I'm pretty sure we both know there's not. And I mean, that was the top card, the access first, right? Or was it one out in the middle?
Well, I mean, he rezzed Ash, right? So we know there's a Sansa in there.
Right.
We don't know what the other installed card is. We have to assume it's an agenda, right? Unless it's the 3rd Jackson, which would be a huge blowout for Aaron, I think.
2nd Ash, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it is an NAPD, and he will pay to steal it. See, yeah, that's rough for Michael because he just had to spend, almost all of his money. He's back down to 2, and now Aaron's got another scoring window. Still yet to see an Astro script, so you got to think that if that comes up, Aaron's going to be in pretty good shape.
I mean, I don't think Michael's too upset about being at 6 points here.
That's fair. I think that is a breaking news, actually, that Aaron just installed. So Aaron not seeing the ideal agendas either.
So as Michael here, you're looking at Viper, which just loses you a click and taxes you. And you're looking at Eli that you can double-click through.
Well, you can pay 2 to get through with Morningstar.
Oh, okay, yep. Think maybe he just starts hammering R&D now. He has the medium. He doesn't have the incubator, so he can't make the big run, but he can start to slow build it, I guess.
But he's going to draw out the rest of his deck and just load Katie and hope he's got enough time to build up some more economy before he starts running again. But yeah, honestly, I think you're right. He's just got to go for R&D. So Aaron double advances. This is the play you were talking about, I think. He double advances the breaking news to try and force Michael to get back in there. Nope, he doesn't. He scores it. I was wrong. So he goes to 5 points.
Well, he can't let him have the breaking news now. I mean, he's at 6.
Right.
But now Aaron's gotten himself to game point, so it's going to be really tight here. Come down to the end.
Yeah.
That R&D is going to cost Michael 5 to get in. 2 for Eli, 3 for the Viper, I believe. He's sitting at 4, 7.
I mean,
Katie,
if he takes Katie money,
if he trashes to Aesops, he can get up to 11. So he could get in there twice.
Yeah, he actually ace-ops the personal workshop, even. Interesting.
So he's foregoing Clot. Although, I think he's figured out at this point. I mean, he has the clone chip, so he's not completely foregoing it.
Confused. Did he just ace-ops twice? Why did the personal workshop disappear and then the mem chip?
I'm not sure.
Oh, he might have breaking news trashed the workshop,
There we
actually.
go.
I forgot that Aaron had a click left.
Yeah, it is a little tough here in the commentary booth, and you can't hear him say, yeah, I'm just going to do this.
Yeah. We try to give you some of that game noise, but it is still a little difficult.
So Michael now sitting at 7, seeing if he's going to pop off Katie. I mean, I got to assume he's going to pop off Katie here and make at least 2 runs on a deal, unless he has some econ in his hand to do it for him.
Yeah. I mean, I think we just saw Aaron top deck both the NAPD and then the breaking news right afterwards. So at this point,
well, I guess Michael's not under pressure right now because Aaron still has to install and pop the clone, the Clot.
Right.
So he has at least 1 more turn.
That's fair.
So maybe save up for a 3-run R&D turn.
Yeah, and it looks like that's what he's doing. So Aaron has to know that too, though. So you'd think he'll either put an ice down in front of it, but he also has no money. So
yeah, he's got 5. How much ice is he really going to put down?
Yeah. And ironically, that is just about all we see in his hand is ice.
Takes.
I think he
took 3.
Yeah, I think he took 3 money.
I think I meant to go to 8, and the D20 rolled a little bit.
Yep.
There we go. Michael said the same thing. He says, look at your die.
So he sacks the useless Proco, 2 ace-ops. Good call, probably.
13, setting up a 19 if he pops Katie.
Yeah. Yeah. Aaron making the point, or Michael making the point that he wouldn't see a whole lot of cards right now. But that could still be useful. I mean, honestly, I think that's his best bet right now, is just to sort of hit R&D. It's, aside from HQ, it's the cheapest server. And you have to think that as soon as Aaron draws that agenda, it's going in that scoring server, because that's...
But he knows he's got enough to get in that scoring server at least once.
Yeah, right.
And Aaron can't afford to sack an agenda for points. His Jacksons are gone, so he's going to have to bluff out something else to
test run.
Pull that money.
Interesting. Test run, scavenge.
Where is this going?
The incubator, maybe? Yep, there it is. He's going to scavenge that incubator so it stays out, and he's just going to wait. He, as you said, he's still got the clone chip. He knows he's got Clot, so he knows Aaron can't win on 1 turn. And then he's going to run.
There we go. No good. I would have laughed really hard if he had pulled an agenda off there after the 5 deep,
right.
Getting nothing earlier. Puts it down. Oh, I think Aaron has forgotten that he has it. Yeah, and you hear Aaron go, oh. Server's a little messy there. But, I mean, Michael's still got to get in. He's got 9 and 4, so he's going to have 13 to get in there.
Interesting that Michael didn't wait for the advancements.
And that may have been a mistake. I mean, if Aaron managed to bluff this out with no advancements, Michael's going to feel really bad about that.
Ooh, what if that's a naked agenda out there? That would be ideal, right?
Great.
That would be an amazing play from Aaron if that turns out to be an agenda over there.
That seems like a play I would make.
Yeah, I love scoring agendas, just absolutely naked, no protection.
I'm going to leave that one alone.
And the best part about Clot is now he can ace-ops it next turn.
And Michael working out in his head.
Yeah, Michael trying to math it, trying to think, could it be anything else? Could it be the Jackson?
I mean, Inner's got 3, so he can pump the Ash 1 time. I don't think Michael has quite enough to get down that server twice. It's going to be close.
16 money if he pops Katie. Or no, I'm sorry, 13 money if he pops Katie. Oh, okay. He's going to drop Astrolabe to the Aesops.
Is he still in memory there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Yeah, because everything else is hosted on Jin.
Oh, and he still has the extra up at the top there. Takes credit for 1.
2
pops
takes
Katie
off
off 2. Oh, I really want to see Aaron have pulled off a fantastic bluff here.
And honestly, that would be one of the most amazing plays I've ever seen if
Oh no, darn.
if it's a bluff.
Fourth click, he's going to make the run down the big server.
Because as you've mentioned before, Aaron is a very deliberate player.
Right,
And
I don't
so
expect to see that out of him.
For him to make that bluff and to act as though he forgot about the Clot, to then install an agenda naked or even just not have installed one at all, would be really ballsy to me.
And I think Aaron can kind of use that to his advantage. I mean, he has
Yeah,
he has to use it sparingly because otherwise he
Certainly.
loses that that kind of personality
surprise,
quirk, right?
But I don't know that. I don't know what Michael's trying to math here.
I mean, he knows he can get in,
Right.
and if he can't get in, then it's too bad. You got to try.
I think he's actually deciding whether or not to break that first subroutine on Ouroboros and lose his fourth click. Because he took money off Katie. So this is his third click. He's going to run. The question is whether or not.
Well, he did take a credit for his third click, but I think he may have gone back and undone that. Like he clicked for a credit, he took money off Katie, he clicked again.
Okay.
But he may have thrown that back. Not sure what he intends to do with his fourth click. Okay.
Okay, so he's just going to go for the medium run.
Yeah. For 3 and 4. Not a bad play. Oh, and I think he just figured out he can't get into that server. That's what he said.
Well, and so Aaron,
Diluting his R&D a little bit.
hoping Michael won't see it with 4 cards.
Looks like about 12 cards in
3
his
cards.
deck.
So Michael's going to run this click, and then for the fourth click.
Does
Oh,
it?
wow.
Yeah.
And,
And with
there's the
Astroscript.
first Astroscript of the game. That's,
Aaron, flip it. Flip it.
that's
I want to
rough,
see that being a
Aaron.
bluff. No, that was
No,
a
it was a
Beal.
Beal. So
Okay.
it wasn't a bluff. Would have been an amazing bluff. But great game from Michael. From both of them, really. Aaron having to, deal with Clot being on the board essentially the entire game. I think there were maybe 2 turns where it wasn't on the game.
And he did okay with it. Like
Yeah,
his deck
yeah.
is probably the least vulnerable to Clot, I think, because of the taxing nature
Right.
of it. Playing a standard NEH deck, I still want to see that game happen, but for right now, I think he was pretty much set for it.